Hey everybody out there in the Dark Avenger universe and comic community, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review. We are officially 28 episodes away from 200. 28 episodes. 28. August is sure coming fast. We're in the 20s now.
Yep.
Still a high 20s, but we're in the 20s. And as you guys saw from the last episode, the editing program works. I can string videos together. Now the only thing is when he gets up and switches from part 1 to part 2 of the video, I'm going to see if there's some way I could add some extra little content in there. I was thinking of like putting in a funny like intermission kind of thing, which will be brief, so don't worry guys, it's not going to be like this long like drawn out commercials in between programs or anything like that, but you know, something a little extra to put in the reviews. Unfortunately this week I don't think there'll be anything in between if there's a part 1 and part 2, especially if they go into 3 and 4 parts, these videos. I don't want to have too much in between the actual review. I'll put little things here and there just to add some more to the comic reviews. At some point I'll make an intro and an outro as soon as I have the time to make one on Windows Movie Maker, and then I'll...
So you're going to like do a music video like most people do, or...
We'll see.
Like music somehow.
The good news is though it works. So from now on guys, you're going to get one straight run comic review. No more 2 and 3 parts. It'll be one part for you guys. All the books in one part. You don't have to worry about going to the next part or anything. It'll all be right there for you guys.
Yep.
So other than that, news-wise, nothing much this week as far as news, as far as I've heard. Anyway, looking forward...
Oh, I'm sorry. It is President's Day, which
yes,
is
that's why we're wearing our patriotic stuff. But next week, Nova #1's coming out. Looking forward to that. Ed McGuinness, Jeff Loeb going back together. So we'll see. Books from this review were released on February 13th, 2013. Only one indie book this week. January, I started filming the digital review. Hopefully it'll be done soon. That's all I'm going to say at this point. Walking Dead issue 107. Wow, what a way to open this book up. Book opens up with Rick just losing his stuff, and he just goes after Negan, and it's an all-out fight, except Negan kind of comes back towards the end, but in the end Negan says he didn't do anything to Carl. Carl shows up. That's a bit of a spoiler there. And Rick just takes him home, and Negan's like, I'll be nice, I'm a nice guy, I'm a nice F, and he F's everything up and down and up and down. So he's like, I'm a nice guy, you know, I'll be nice to you as long as you are nice to me. So they go home. There's a bunch of dialogue between several characters. I'm not going to say that. You got to read the book. It's really good. But the ending is awesome because this is where Rick is starting to formulate a plan to take Negan out once and for all. And I love the last page. I will spoil this because it's really not a big spoiler, because if you saw the cover to the next issue, you already know. Jesus is like, I think it's time I introduced you to Ezekiel.
Uh-huh. Wow.
And that's where it leaves off. I left out a lot of dialogue. I enjoyed this book. The story's really awesome. I'm going to hold on to this as far as hard copies for a little bit longer. Probably after the whole Negan situation's done with, I'll probably move this to digital reviews. Not sure yet. Might keep it as hardcover or as paper format. It's not that much. It's a $2.99 book, so I think I'll probably end up keeping it as a paper format. But I really like this book. It's really awesome. Also, a lot of you guys asked about Garfield. Yes, Garfield 10 did come out this week. I don't have it in the pile here. I have it in the pile in my room. It was a good book.
Want me to go get it?
No, it's okay, because it's a good book. If you want to see artwork inside the book, because somebody did mention that, you can go over to DarkAvengerINC. Cindy already did her review on it and showed artwork, so you could see it there. But that's my guilty pleasure, which I really, you know, everybody, you guys are right. I did at least used to show it on my comic reviews, and probably starting the next issue, I'll be showing it a little bit more. This book came out 2 weeks ago, I believe. Yeah, it was about 2 weeks ago, the last week of January. Injustice Gods Among Us. I'm also one of those people that don't like game tie-ins, because game tie-in books, they just don't do as well, you know, when it comes to a comic book format. It just doesn't work. Sometimes. There are a couple of comics that come to mind that did pretty good. The old Resident Evil magazines I really liked a lot.
Yeah,
but Injustice Gods Among Us, first of all, the artwork is spectacular. Second of all, apparently Superman is back to being married to Lois Lane. And spoiler alert here, but you guys probably know it's been 2 weeks by now. Lois Lane is pregnant, and Joker ends up killing Jimmy Olsen. And there's Doomsday, or is it Doomsday? I'm not telling you guys. You got to read this book, or you can digitally read it. And let's just say things aren't good for Lois by the end of this issue, nor are they good in Metropolis. Joker has definitely pushed Superman beyond the breaking point in just one issue. Joker's pushed Superman to his breaking point. I can't wait for issue 2. For those of you that were on the live show, that were watching the live show last week, I was going to say 2 weeks ago, last week, Mark actually was showing one panel from the, I believe it was last week's Injustice Gods Among Us digital issue. And whoa. So yeah, Superman's definitely been pushed beyond his breaking point. This book is really good. Definitely, if you're planning on getting the game, it's something you should check out. It's a backup story. Even if you're not getting the game, it's an interesting story just to see what... it's interesting. I just really like it, and I'm going to stick with it for the amount of issues that it's out. And then he'll probably tell me how the game ends or something.
It's going to be good, I'll tell you that.
The book from DC this week, there is one more from DC, but it takes place after this book, is Batman issue 17, the final part to the Joker's Death in the Family tie. Now, I'm not going to spoil too much, even though it's been out nearly a week. I mean, yeah, there's been spoilers everywhere, and yeah, basically all you guys know what happened. I will say this, I'm happy to announce, let's put it that way. I was going to say pleasantly surprised. I'm happy to announce that Alfred is fine. And we find out what's underneath the platter, but you guys are going to have to get the book to find out what it is. But let me just say this, when you do see it, don't be too surprised if it's... Remember, this is the Joker, and he is the king of deceit, so to speak. And there is a final battle between... not a final battle, but there is a battle between Joker and Batman. And also Joker has the whole Bat family fighting amongst each other. When Batman chases after Joker, Joker disperses this gas that kind of gets the entire Bat family to basically beat each other apart. And actually, spoiler alert here though, Alfred's the one that actually gets them to calm down and realize, you know, this is family, you know, family stay together. And Nightwing is like, stop. I believe it's Nightwing anyway. You really... with all the commotion that's... No, it is Nightwing. Nightwing's the one that's saying stop. Damian's like, I'm here. And you know what they really did was, in this book, Red Hood and Batgirl kind of take a back... and Tim Drake, actually, take a back seat. And the real faces you see are Dick Grayson and Damian. Really, like right here in this panel where they're fighting, you see only Dick Grayson and Damian are the ones actually responding to what Alfred is saying. So that's kind of like a first and last Robin kind of deal. Like, those are like the official sons of Batman, so to speak. It turns out Joker really didn't know about any of their secret identities. That's a bit of a spoiler. But we find out something about Bruce Wayne and the Joker way back in the day. Once again, read the book. But in the end... lots of cuts, lots of bruises, and the Bat family is never going to be the same again because they trusted Batman, and that's what happened, and Batman never trusted them to the truth.
Wow.
So nothing. Oh, and what happened to the Joker, you'll have to read the book also, but let's just say at the very end, we get to see his face flapping away in the wind, but we never get to see Joker without his skin face. Maybe the next time Joker shows up we will, but for right now, we don't get to see Joker without the actual face.
Kind of disturbing with all that stuff.
Yeah, they really made Joker very dark and disturbing. And
I mean, ever since that movie that came out, he's been more of a...
No, but they made him even darker. They made him like something like out of Swamp Thing and Animal Man darker.
Well, yeah, with the whole... Yeah.
So this was really good. For those of you who are hoping for a big death, I'm sure a lot of you are disappointed that nobody died. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, Batman Inc. number 8, where it says R.I.P. and the R is Damian Wayne's R. Damian is not going to die. They're not really boosting, like they're not really promoting it like in the books. They're not showing like posters of it. This they were. If they were going to kill Damian Wayne, this would have been the book they were going to do it in, not Batman Inc. of all books, which basically, if you look at all the Bat books, Batman Inc. is definitely not part of the top 5 books, I don't believe anyway. I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but Batman Inc. is not really that high up there as much as Batman and Batman and Robin, which we're going to get into in a second, Nightwing, Batgirl, so it's pretty, I don't think they would do it unless they do like a huge promo for it. I don't believe Robin's going to die. Maybe his alter ego is going to die and he'll change his superhero name or something, but I don't think Damian Wayne the person is going to die. Batman and Robin 17 takes place after Death in the Family. Everybody's home, and for those of you that saw the previews already knew that Alfred was okay, because it was actually in the previews. And yeah, so it kind of spoiled a little bit of the Death in the Family. This is mostly a dream sequence book. It starts off with Damian dreaming, and then Alfred dreaming, but Alfred has the best dream out of everybody, and I'm going to spoil it. Alfred's dream was blowing Joker's face off, literally blowing his head off.
Go Alfred.
And the best one, I think, was Batman's dream, where he's dreaming about that boat, if you guys remember the boat in one of the previous issues. I believe it was the first issue of Batman and Robin, where he's telling Damian, I'm going to let this boat, this is it, this is my last time I'm memorializing
yeah,
him.
I remember that, yeah.
And his parents are there, and they have this weird, he has like this Moby Dick kind of dream where the whale eats his boat, and he's all alone, he's screaming, leave me alone, and he's drowning. And then Damian's the one that actually reaches into the water and actually saves him. And Damian had a nightmare at the beginning of the book. At this point, Bruce wakes up and he kind of tucks Damian in, and that's where Damian kind of has his first dream, and he's like, this is the first time I don't actually want to wake up. This I finally don't want to wake up from this dream. It was really good. As I said, it starts off with nightmares, but it ends in dreams kind of thing. It's a nice little filler, kind of like prologue kind of issue, because it is kind of a prologue, because this is like the calm after the huge storm that happened in Death in the Family. I like Batman and Robin. I'm not really too much into Detective. I'm not too much into Dark Knight. So I only get about 2 Batman books right now. As far as the Batman title, I do get Nightwing also, and I might get Red Hood now, hearing about what the WTF moment is. Maybe, I probably won't, but if there's not that many books that week, I might, just for the heck of it. But Batman and Robin was a really good read as well. That's just in my opinion. And that's it for DC Comics. So now we're going to go into some Marvel Comics. We got 2 #1s this week, but we're going to go into those last. Right now we got Fantastic Four issue #4. And this issue, a lot of doubt between Sue and Reed happens in this movie. Sue is actually worshipped as a goddess. Franklin's still having the bad dreams about how it's his dad's fault. There are flashbacks to when Reed first met Sue, and he's actually writing Sue this letter at the same time, and that's throughout the entire book. And towards the end, you could see that Sue is, I want to try to find that picture, but you could see here that Sue knows that Reed's up to something, and Reed's not telling her, and it's really causing kind of a fraction between them. And in the end, though, Reed does go to Sue, and he's like, Susan, you were right, we need to talk. So apparently Susan or Sue Storm's going to get in on the what's going on, what's really going on. And finally, the Thing admits, I'm thinking I made a big fat mistake coming along on this family trip of yours. I'm feeling lonely and cooped up, and we have our fun and all, but, well, there's no place like home. Sorry about the mess. And he's just like, he's alienating himself from the rest of the Fantastic Four. I'm trying to find the actual picture. Yeah, I think it's here. Where he just wants peace and quiet, and you see him. This is like the 2nd or 3rd issue where he's standing outside the ship just staring off into space. So Thing doesn't want to be there. Sue doesn't trust Reed. Johnny's completely clueless. Franklin's still having the bad dreams, and Valerie is just the hugest. I believe it's Valerie. Please tell me I didn't say her name wrong, because then I'm gonna nuts. Yeah, I was right. Or Valeria, whatever. Anyway, she's adventurous, kind of like her father. So, yeah, in whole, I am enjoying Fantastic Four. I'm liking the direction it's going. And now that Sue is going to be in on the big secret that Reed's been holding since issue 1, it's going to be really interesting to see where this book goes from here. I can't wait to actually read issue 5 and see what her reaction is when Reed tells her the truth about what's really going on. Wolverine and the X-Men, issue number 15. Brood is back. He's not dead anymore, or dying, or in a coma or anything. However, Brood is now, how do I put this, in a, he's reverted back to his primal state. And also we have Dog Logan, or Dog, I forgot, Howlett, who's going after Wolverine, who is in the Savage Land. And he's taking all these kids on a field trip to the Savage Land to get them to learn how to work together and to work as a clan and as a team. And Beast and Wolverine have a talk about this. You know, Beast is like, they're being targeted by, you know, the Hellfire Club. You got the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants that already abducted Evan once. And Wolverine's like, that's exactly why they got to do this. They got to learn to work together. They got to survive, and they got to be ready. And that's where Beast actually says, okay, I have one person I'd like you to put on the trip. I'm going to show. And that's Brew, and he wants Brew, and maybe it'll help snap him out of it. And we also find out he has some artwork, by the way. I'm okay with the artwork. I'm not too much of a fan of the art.
It looks pretty good.
But it's pretty good. I'll give it that. It's all right. And we also find out that Quentin Quire, in a flashback hours earlier, was voted as school president.
What?
It was Logan's vote that was the deciding vote, and he voted. So basically, Quentin is trying to assert himself and prove that he is the, you know, he can be president of the school, and yeah, nobody listens to him, nobody cares. And I love how he says, mental note to self, stick to forcibly controlling people's minds, being responsible gets you nowhere. I love it. And then I love how Evan's flying off. They keep saying that he's going to be a supervillain. This is what's going to turn Genesis into Kid Apocalypse if they keep doing that stupid crap. And he's like, I'm going to be the greatest hero ever. And he's like, I'm going to keep flying north until I find, you know, the edge, and then we'll fly. I'm going to fly a different direction. I love how, I forgot what her name is. Maybe it's in the roster at the beginning? Yes. Sprite. Sprite actually says, that sounds very noble and all, but you do realize we're heading east, right? And he says, being the greatest hero ever is turning out to be more difficult than I thought. And you just have Logan, and he's watching them. He wants them to act alone, and he kind of like, he instigates a fight between the students and a Tyrannosaurus. And he like sneaks off, but he's watching them all from the trees and stuff. But then he gets attacked by his brother. His older brother. And that's where it's to be continued. And for those of you who want a roster, an updated roster, here you go. You've got the new head mistress Storm. You got the whole teacher staff, the whole kid staff, and then at the very bottom, you have the all-new X-Men team, which is Young Angel, Young Beast, Young Cyclops, Young Iceman, and Young Jean Grey. So there you go. I know a lot of people wanted to see this, or wanted an update. So yes, you have your update right here for your roster.
That's pretty cool.
Because they're not doing it, I believe, in Uncanny X-Men. Maybe they'll do it in issue 2, but they didn't do it in issue 1. So this book was okay. I would say it was an okay read. I'll leave it at it was an okay read. I enjoyed it. I leave it up to you guys if you're interested in checking it out. But big things are going to be coming for Wolverine and the X-Men fairly soon. Cable and the X-Force, or Cable and X-Force, issue number 4. The final part before we got to issue 1. Basically, Cable destroys his secret base. X-Force is now on the run. This is present day. And basically Cable leaves them all and says, when you're needed, I'll call you. And I love how Domino's like, when he says when it's time, and Domino's like, time for what? And then Peter actually says, yes, why don't we turn ourselves in and explain all this? And Cable's like, we can't, not yet. And he just walks off. We then go back to hours earlier, and the truck actually ends up leaving the facility, and we find out who is the reason for the girth hitting inside the facility, and it's Deathlock. So we now have two time-traveling people, that being Cable having his fever dreams of the future, and now Deathlock, who also is knowing about what's going on, and Deathlock kind of manipulating the outcome of certain things. So I want to make sure it's Dr. Nemesis, right? Yeah, Dr. Nemesis is trying to figure out a cure for the girth, and it's just not working, and the whole book is X-Force and Cable fighting off these girth monsters, and in the end Dr. Nemesis just says, it's not going to work. I have a solution, but it's a kill solution, and it all goes back to the weaponized the transmotes sample that they got way back, I believe, in issue 2, which was eating up that ship, and basically he set it to only attack the girth, and Pete's like, no, you can't do it. He tries to stop him, it doesn't work, and that's kind of where issue 1 starts off, where the X-Force and the police are arriving on the scene of, I don't want to say the crime, but they're showing up. So basically, if you read issue 1, this is where, right after this page, you go back to issue 1 and read the first page, and there you go. So, the only reason I'm actually coming back is the next cover looks very interesting, with Hope actually ready to kill Cable, or about to execute Cable. There's nothing really special about Cable and X-Force, but at the same time, it's an interesting read. I just hope they don't keep doing the whole, okay, here's the present, but now here's a huge story about the past, and then we're going to go back to the present for like one page, and then we're going to go back to the past again. Hopefully they'll stay in present day from the next issue on. So we'll see where that goes. But it's a nice read. Once again, I leave it up to you guys. Okay. This book I actually posted on my blogger, which, by the way, guys, I am actually posting on my blogger again. I'm posting these videos on my channel on there, as well as I have little videos, little articles I'm writing here, there, and everywhere as well. So, just letting you guys know, it's DarkAvengerC86.blogger.com, I believe. You could also go on my channel, and I probably have it in the links on the sidebar by now. I'll definitely check before I post this video. So, Scarlet Spider issue 14. Okay. The issue itself was good. My problem isn't really the story as much as the outcome to this part. So I'm going to try to keep myself composed until, yeah. So Kane is dying, and we get to see this nice little spider crawl up to his head. Now remember, way back in the Amazing Spider-Man, the Grim Hunt, where Kane came back from the dead and he had all those spider eyes? Okay, remember that. And then you remember in issue 1 how Kane could command spiders? Remember that too. Arsley is running from the wolves while Kane is in his own mind, and we finally get some links to the 2 events that I just mentioned to you guys, and it turns out this all has to do with the others and the web again, and it has to do with this creature right here. It's a creature made of completely of spiders, and basically he wanted Peter at first, and Pete kind of he wouldn't submit, and he's more man than spider basically, but this being wants to, I believe he has a name. Oh no, he doesn't give a name.
Just a human spider.
So basically he knows that Kane is a carbon copy of Peter Parker, and Parker rejected him, but Kane is more monster slash spider than man, so he offers Kane, you know, to become the most powerful, here, you're a spider who dreams of being a man. You've always been the spider. All you have to do is accept it, accept your true nature, embrace me, and I will show you the power you've only dreamed of. I can help you survive what's coming. All you need to do is say is yes. And of course Kane at first says no. and he's fighting the monster. But that means that if Kane kills the monster, Kane dies himself, and he realizes if he does die, then so does Araceli. So in the end, we find out that the being, by the way, made of all those spiders is just one huge spider. But in the end, Kane submits. And that's what leads to the very last page, which ruined this entire issue for me at least. Scarlet Spider's been going very well. And I am going to spoil the last page, so if you guys want, you can fast forward to when we talk about the number ones. We're probably going to switch to the next part or just move over. There's going to be a brief intermission before we get to the two number ones. But I'm going to spoil it, so if you guys want, you can fast forward to when we talk about the number ones. But in the end, because Kane submitted, that means he gets to be, he's transformed, you know, as all this is going on, all these little spiders cocoon his body, which is basically bleeding out, and he comes back as a spider monster.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Terrible.
Why?
And the next kind of cover, yeah. So basically now he's not a human, like he's a spider monster.
Why are they making him a spider monster?
I don't know. But now he's like more spider than man. This is just horrible. I'm sorry, but I have issues with this last part right here. The story was fine, but the whole part where now Kane, it looks like that. I hope it's just for this story arc and somehow he comes back, because that's a horrible character design if that's going to be Kane from now on. I mean, we went through all that Kane way back in the 90s where he was all messed up, and then finally he got a new chance at life, and now they've turned him into a spider, half spider, more spider than man kind of monster. I don't even know what the hell it is. But that last page kind of ruined this book for me. The book itself, the story was really good, and Arcely's really fighting off the Lobos by telepathically having other people fight for her. But the whole last panel, the last page where what Kane transforms into, I don't know. If it's temporary, I think that Scarlet Spider is going to have a lot to come back from after this. But, you know, this series had a lot of potential up until this point. Now it's kind of like where I'm questioning and hoping that things will just fix themselves up as the story continues. Am I dropping it? No. But as you guys know, if things do get stagnant and really fall out, that's when I'll start considering. But for right now, I'm going to keep it through this story arc, go to the next story arc, and we'll see where things go for Scarlet Spider after that. But for right now, I'm keeping it. I leave that book up to you guys. So really quick, we're going to switch parts. We have two more books. We have the secret. We have two more number ones. So yeah, let's just switch parts. We'll be back after this brief little switch, so to speak. So we'll see you guys back here in about 2 seconds. And welcome back, guys. And we have two number ones this week. I read this number one, and I'll show it before I give it to Mike. Mike has no books this week, that's why he's reviewing this. Secret Avengers number one, it just didn't do anything for me at all. I read through this book, and to be honest, I just don't feel anything for this book at all. However,
on the other hand,
he disagrees with what I say.
Yeah, I mean, I read this book, and I actually found nothing wrong with this comic whatsoever.
I didn't say anything was wrong. I said it just didn't catch my interest.
Well, to me, it actually was pretty good. I mean, you have Hawkeye and... well, first of all, it talks about Hawkeye having a one-on-one confrontation.
Yeah, and he doesn't know what the hell's going on, but you find out what went on later on at the end of the book.
But this is just before the actual...
The one thing I hate is when books end where they begin. So the beginning of the book links to the end of the book, and it's like, oh,
well,
come on.
Actually, it kind of is a good idea because it gives us of how and why this is happening. I mean, that's why I see. But
and
anyway,
Agent Coulson's in it.
Yeah, Phil Coulson is in this issue. I like the artwork. The artwork's really good.
I have no issue with the artwork.
Yeah, and he's trying to set a team initiative. Sounds like Avengers much, like the movie, of Black Widow and Hawkeye. And I like how he uses the ring where when they shook his hand and then he has like all the information. I thought that was pretty funny. So then we get to where Nick Fury is there as well. And he's talking about Andres Bertessi, which is the guy we saw in the beginning of the comic book. and their mission is to stop him. And there's like this portal right here in the bottom panel that he uses. And there's like 2 twists to like the whole gun shooting thing. You know, like this part right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ending changes though, but I'm not going to tell you how it changes. You gotta read the book. And, you know, there's just lots of action going on. The ending part was like really a twist right there. Of
Nick Fury has some type of a healing serum now.
Yeah, and the gun and everything. But I thought that the story was good. I mean, I'm not saying that I might get issue 2. I mean, it wouldn't be really a loss. Like, I'm the type of guy that says I like the issue, but if we don't have enough to get issue 2...
If I don't have enough...
Or if you don't have enough to get issue 2, then it's not a big deal. But since I don't have comics this week, I thought that was a good issue in general.
And sticking with variant covers, yes, I didn't get any #1 in a regular cover this week. Uncanny X-Men, issue 1. This is the State Bird, all 50 and then some, 1-on-1 cover Deadpool variant. Yes, this is my first ever Deadpool cover variant issue comic thing. On the flip side, this book I enjoyed. It turns out somebody, we all know somebody on the Uncanny X-Men team's a traitor, and the person went to Maria Hill and is telling him how Cyclops is so dangerous and there are so many mutants and he's causing a revolution and you can't kill Cyclops because you're just going to martyr him then. So you have to call him out, you got to show him for what he is and then take him in. Artwork by Chris Pacello is a bit better in this book. It's not as bad as the Wolverine and the X-Men book. I don't know why, but I just feel like at this moment...
Oh, something.
Yeah, go check.
Yeah, I'll go check.
I feel like at this moment it just fits. It just fits with this book. And we get to see new Sentinels. So, I think that's cool. What?
No, it's just Spider didn't pick it up though.
Oh, okay. And Magneto's having trouble with his powers. He uses them and he gets kind of like frazzled. And Cyclops, everything's fine?
Yeah, everything's good.
And this is where the person who's talking to Maria Hill is explaining that Cyclops doesn't have control over his powers anymore. Basically, where was it? It was a lucky shot. He hit them with everything he had, but he had no idea he was doing it until it was done. So basically, Cyclops is kind of not in control of his powers right now, and he could have easily destroyed everybody there, including the innocent civilians. But he actually was knocked out after doing that blast, and they kind of like disappeared thanks to magic. So at the very end of the book, it's revealed who the person is, and everybody already spoiled it, so nobody get mad at me. It's Magneto, who didn't see that coming. However, it's not Magneto the way you think. It's a bald Magneto. Magneto shaved his head, and the reason Magneto's doing this is because he killed Charles Xavier. Where was it? Charles Xavier and I rarely saw eye to eye, but we shared a dream, and Scott Summers murdered Charles Xavier right in front of me, while at the same time he destroyed my powers, my mutant birthright, so I'm forced to live the rest of my life a pale reflection of my former self. Scott Summers is not the face of the mutant race. He's not the face of the future. He is a murdering monster. You need to get Scott Summers to reveal himself to the world. You need him to self-destruct in public. It won't take much and it won't take long. And I'm here to help you make this happen. To be continued. In Uncanny X-Men #2.
Whoa. So how come Deadpool's on the cover?
It's a variant!
Oh. Well, yeah.
Variant! Deadpool's on Wolverine's side anyway.
Yeah.
I think. I don't even know where Deadpool is anymore. He's on S.H.I.E.L.D.'s side. In his books, he's working for S.H.I.E.L.D. So, I like this book. I'm definitely sticking with Uncanny X-Men now just to see where all this is going. Not a huge fan of Chris Pacello's artwork. However, this book was a good read, and it's worth the $3.99. And I believe it has a free, yeah, it does have a free digital download code in it. I don't believe... Oh yeah, Secret Avengers do as well, because they're both $3.99 books. So, yeah, you can get free digital downloads for both books. Yippee! So I really liked Uncanny X-Men over the Secret Avengers. You didn't read Uncanny X-Men, did you?
No, I didn't. I just read.
So you can't compare, really.
Well, by looking at this, I mean, I could say that they're both really the same, sort of, in like story essence-wise. But
I enjoyed this a bit more. That's just my opinion. I won't, personally, I won't be coming back to read issue 2 of Secret Avengers. Secret Avengers really didn't interest me way back when it first saw the light of day, like volume 1. The first story arc did, because it had Nova and Captain America and Moonstone and everybody else in there. Then it changed, and then we went to volume, and I didn't like it. And then we went to volume 2, and that wasn't so much fun. Then Venom joined. I started reading it again, but it kind of went stale again. This time around, I'm not even really willing to. I read the first issue and it was just okay. So I could tell that if I was to drop an Avenger book right now, if we were deep into it and there was like 5 issues throughout all the comics, down the line, Secret Avengers would be the book I would end up dropping, because it just doesn't hold me as much as Avengers does. Even though right now it's really more of a spotlight comic, New Avengers really is holding me a lot. And there's a bunch more books to come. There's a hella huge amount of X-Men books. The only X-Men books I'm not buying at this time are X-Men and Astonishing X-Men. And when X-Men #1 comes out, I'm going to give that book a try. And Astonishing X-Men I might give a shot later on after Extermination is over. And he reads the other 2 X books that I don't read, which are X-Men Legacy and X-Force. Not X-Force, X-Factor.
Yeah, X-Factor.
So there are a lot of X-Men books. I believe there's like 12 X-Men related and X-Men books. So, and I believe that's including the 2 Wolverine books. And if you want to count Deadpool, that's a different story. But there is a whole lot of X books. And X-Men aren't the way they were like back in the 90s. We're talking they're fractured. There's Cyclops' side, there's Wolverine's side. There's X-Factor, which has always been around. X-Men Legacy, which is now focused, instead of it focusing on Rogue, it's focusing on Legion again, which is when it first started. I believe it focused on Legion too. Yeah, it did. So it's not the same X-Men like the way they were in the 90s. In the 90s, it was just one main team, and then there was Alpha Flight, X-Factor, X-Force came around later on. But I feel like I'm reading the book, but half of the X-Men I'm used to seeing together aren't together anymore. And let's not forget All New X-Men, which brings the old X-Men to the present, the young X-Men. When I say old, I meant the older comics X-Men. The young X-Men to the present. So we now have 2 Cyclopses, 2 Beasts, 2 Angels, 2 Icemen, 1 Jean Grey.
Well, it would make sense, because...
Which is very dangerous to have Jean Grey in the present, because they just got rid of the Phoenix Force. Young Jean Grey is going to just bring it right back again. But you have the young X-Men now. You have the divided X-Men, which is Wolverine's side and Cyclops' side. You have X-Factor going in hell right now. You got X-Men Legacy with Legion trying to figure out how he's going to save or destroy the world, whatever he's doing this week. Deadpool's fighting dead presidents. Wolverine stuck in the Savage Land in one book. I don't know what he's going to be doing in the other book yet.
And let's not forget Deadpool is also...
That's Killology. That's Killology. That's an Elseworld tale.
Oh,
yeah. And Cable and X-Force, he's having fever dreams of the future. He's just off doing his own thing. X-Force, led by Psylocke, is doing its own thing. It's just, there's so much going on at once in the mutant community now. Way back in the day, there was like, what, 2 or 3 X-Men books in the 90s? And that was it, including Wolverine there before. So, yeah, a lot's going on with the X-Men. A lot of different stories. And I just feel like in DC, Batman is really saturating the DC market. When you go to Marvel now, I feel like X-Men are saturating the Marvel market. Because even in the Avenger books, you have X-Men now. We have the Uncanny Avengers, which is a main focus on half X-Men, half Avengers. So I feel like X-Men are kind of saturating the Marvel market now. And is this good or is this bad? I leave that up to you guys to decide. Personally, I'm reading the books. I have no problem with a lot of the X-Men books at all. And the only Avenger book that I really am not interested in at this moment is the Secret Avengers. So, and Uncanny Avengers kind of is I'm starting to just give up on the book. I'm probably not even going to get the next issue, to be honest. So... If anything, I'm dropping more Avenger stuff than I am X-Men stuff. The X-Men stuff's going pretty well, but once again, don't forget that Brian Michael Bendis is writing most of the X-Men stuff now, and Brian Michael Bendis' run on the Avengers, save a couple of things here and there, was pretty good as well. So, yeah, enough said there, I guess. So that's it for this week, guys. Let's just finish rounding off everything, and we'll let you guys go.
President's Day, well, Presidents, we salute you. Yes.
If I had some patriotic music, I'd throw it in there right now.
Yeah, so I'll see you guys next week.
So let's run down the books this week. Whenever Mike gets the camera.
Oh, sorry.
First, we have Uncanny X-Men #1. Really good. Definitely recommend you guys check it out. Secret Avengers #1, I was there with, but Mike?
I thought it was good.
Scarlet Spider issue 14 was good up until the last page. Now, I don't know. We'll see where it goes, but I did not like the last page. If you want more of my insight on that last panel, go to my blogger and you'll see how I felt really about that final panel. Cable and X-Force #4, I'm coming back for the next issue, but we'll see where it goes from there. I leave that up to you guys. Wolverine and the X-Men issue 25, I leave up to you guys as well. Fantastic Four issue 4 was really good. Check it out. Batman and Robin issue 17 was a nice dream sequence. Up to you guys. Batman 17 was good. Unless you were looking for a death, then you're probably hating Batman 17 right now, but I would say check it out. Injustice Gods Among Us #1 was awesome. Definitely check that out. Walking Dead 107 continues to deliver as always. Definitely check that out as well. And with that, guys, also don't forget to check out comicrelated.com for all your comic-related news, reviews, and more. Don't forget DarkAvengerINC has a Facebook page, facebook.com/DarkAvengerINC. We post a lot of stuff on there. And if you're looking for even more news, reviews, toy reviews, everything you can imagine, you can go check out bkbn.net for even more reviews on the things you guys like. So you got 3 different places, including this channel, to check out stuff, news and review-wise, for comics, toys, video games, and more. But you can also check out some comic, video game, and toy reviews also on comic related. So you have 2 websites, check out 2 separate types of reviews. Plus you got us on DarkAvengerINC, and you got me here doing my reviews. So take care, everybody. See you guys really soon in another video. Keep reading, keep collecting. See you guys soon.
Later, guys.
Take care, guys.